Well, we've heard a lot about tax in the last few weeks, haven't we? Particularly David Cameron's tax, the Chancellor of the Exchequer's tax, and perhaps more to the point, their tax avoidance schemes, which, let me assure you, as having spent many years in an investment bank, I can absolutely assure you that no wealthy family doesn't practice trust planning, tax planning, and all the things that go with tax avoidance, and quite rightly too. Your first duty is to your family. It isn't to the state. And Jenny Russell in the London Times this morning made the point, and I think it was a very bad point, that tax gives us everything that's civilized and everybody should pay their taxes. Well, it's, I think, a little bit disingenuous to assume that all the tax we pay goes on good things like schools, hospitals, apple pie, free ice cream for children, because it doesn't, does it? It goes wasted, most of it. So we have £1 billion a month going to the EU. We have £1 billion in fake charities. We have £1 billion a month in foreign aid. No receipts, no audit trail for any of this. We have 80 odd billion a year in quangos. What happened to the bonfire of the quangos, I'd like to know. Nothing very much. So we know that round about £100 billion of our tax is actually squandered, which makes people reluctant to pay it. And I think that most people wouldn't mind paying a flat tax, basic tax of, say, 20% to make it their contribution to the state. And I think that's enough. But I think one of the reasons people set companies up in Panama, the Virgin Islands and elsewhere is because we have a confiscatory tax system. It's just too much and people have to avoid it. Otherwise, the state steals too much of their money. Let's just have a look about the ordinary working guy, the ordinary working dude. He also pays a fearsome amount of tax. Unfortunately, he can't get out of it. We have the most expensive beer in the world. The tax on that is absolutely outrageous. We have some of the most expensive fuel in the world, absolutely outrageous. 20% VAT. The government is collecting tax from the ordinary working man at the most extortionate rate. And of course then, because nobody can afford to live a decent life and the standard of living isn't going up, we have the ridiculous situation when they put in a minimum wage. They say, the minimum wage has now got to be £9 or whatever it's going to be in a couple of years' time. So they put the burden on the employer who can't afford to employ people. And the real source of the problem is the government make everything too expensive by too much tax. And getting back to that, this is the reason that people avoid it. And just let's look at the people who avoid it. Let's just look at this. It's quite interesting. It's not just David Cameron and George Osborne, is it? It's not just the Prime Minister and the Chancellor of the Exchequer. We have members of the great and the good. So we have Margaret Hodge, Chairman of the Parliamentary Budgetary Committee. Massive family tax planning there, family trust. She's an extremely wealthy woman from an extremely wealthy family. Same from the pontificating Polly Toynbee at The Guardian. Very wealthy family, private schools all the way through, all paid for probably by trusts, quite legitimately, quite properly. People put their families before the state, and I'm not criticising that at all. What I'm criticising is the sheer humbuggery of it, the sheer hypocrisy of it, and I think that's where we're all fed up. I might leave you with a rather unfashionable thought, if I may. You know, rich people don't want state education, don't want state health, they don't want state pensions, they don't want all these things that we all seem to be addicted to in the welfare state. They don't have any of these things, they don't want any of these things, so one has to be a little bit circumspect on accusing them of not paying taxes for something which they don't get. And I wouldn't mind betting that their VAT and their council tax alone in a year is more than most of us pay in income tax. So I don't think we need to completely make them the villain of the piece. I think all they're doing is protecting themselves and their family from a greedy and squandering state. And I think that's right and proper. Let's do something about aggressive taxation before we start worrying about aggressive tax planning.